What is up, Whisper Nation? Welcome into the Friday Injury Concern Show. Going into week 3, we'll be talking about that Thursday night recap, talk about the CMC injury, what you need to do moving forward, as well as some big injury repercussions. Odell Beckham possibly playing. Should you get him in your lineup or take him out? Should you trust him? We'll talk about it and more, all on today's episode of the Fantasy Whispers.
Right here.
That's right. Like Johnny said, we're talking news and notes. We're talking injury concerns, lineup questions with the NFL. We'll obviously answer a ton of those lineup questions on Sunday. But if you like that fantasy football content, you like it daily, consider subscribing on the YouTube channel, giving this and our other videos a like on your way in. I am Big Travie. You can find me on Twitter at Big Travie TFW. I'm joined right now by Johnny Game Time Hicks. You can find him on Twitter at Johnny_Game Time. What's going on, Johnny? Week 3 is upon us, brother.
We should start doing some kind of like touchdown dance right when
is that in honor of Nuke maybe not playing? Game time decision for Deandre Hopkins?
I mean, we'll talk about it, but I think he's playing. This is just per usual with D-Hop, but
he does this, yeah. But we'll get into it. Mr. Miyagi coming in here saying, yo, want to thank everybody in here in the chat, watching with us, rocking with us. We're going to get into some news and notes, Johnny. But first, week 3, man, this is a pivotal week because we have our offseason takes and we have a little bit of data. But as we get into week 3, week 4, week 5, we get some more data. We get able to tell a little bit better of a story. So I'm excited for this week. It's a big one as far as data points and things that we can look at. But let's talk a little bit about how this week started, Johnny. It was on Thursday night. The Houston Texans hosted the Carolina Panthers. This was it was a close one until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so we saw a little bit of Davis Mills action there. No touchdowns, but not anything inspiring. Sam Darnold, though, Johnny, 2 rushing touchdowns, over 304 yards passing. Sam Darnold, is he here on the streaming radar for good? Is this French QB1?
I don't know about French QB1, but I do know that we talked about him being a streamable candidate because of the system, because of what we know about Adam. That's the thing. This is the sweeping under the rug. Everyone's just sweeping it and like trying to act like no one notices the elephant in the room. Come on. Adam Gase, once again, another player. I know it's only 2 games, but Sam Darnold has never played this well. Or 3 games, excuse me. Yeah, but he's never played this well. And he's actually making these players like DJ Moore. Welcome in, my man. We talked about him, got him on the wall. He's one of our bromances, and he is just dominating right now as far and being Sam Darnold's go-to wide receiver.
Targets, Johnny, 8 receptions, 126 yards. It'll be interesting to see where he winds up after all the teams play here and what finish he'll be at, because he put up nearly double-digit points in week 1. He did it in PPR, and now he's done it for 3 straight weeks. So in PPR, we love what we're seeing out of Moore. We were loving what we saw out of Christian McCaffrey, but unfortunately the biggest storyline out of this game, Johnny, is Christian McCaffrey pulling up on that hamstring, non-contact, pulled up, went into the tent, did not return, and now the update that we got today was Christian McCaffrey is expected to miss a few weeks, sources say, as the team continues to run tests on his hamstring suffered last night. IR is not the plan as of now. Rookie Chuba Hubbard is the next man up.
And it certainly looked like Chuba was the net. We saw this in preseason. We saw this, obviously last night. Here was a lot of people. I mean, let us know in the chat, Whisper Nation. They kept showing the replay, and they're like, you could see it. I couldn't really see it happening. But it is a major concern. You're talking about a hamstring injury, which is easily that's like one of the hardest injuries to heal and come back from. They talk about it all the time as football players because it might feel like it's 100%, and then you try to give it a go 100%, and then you end up getting a setback. You start all the way back from scratch. So this is something that is definitely a concern moving forward. What would you? I mean, you can't trade him right now.
No, you got to hang on to him. Hopefully you're in a league with an IR spot. If he does hit the IR, you'd be able to put him in there. IR spots are all the craze these days, and everybody's about them. So you might as well put them in your league and not worry about it. But I will just say this. I think we don't know if they'll put him on IR, but if they're saying a few weeks already, if they're already working out a Duke Johnson as they did today, then we've got a situation where they're not that confident in the injury right now.
And when he comes back, are you going to try to attempt to trade him then, because knowing the concerns of, or you're just like, I'm going to steer out this ship. Like I'm just going to go. You're going to captain down with the ship.
Hopefully you got Chuba Hubbard, right? Hopefully you picked him up if you're the CMC GM, and you're going to be able to do kind of the Mike Davis thing last year. If you had Mike Davis, you're going to be able to ride the backup in the games that you can't get CMC out there. And once again, Johnny, like, I know we don't like using injury prone, but again, I got to look at these players that have just had a lot of wear and tear on their body. And it's now unfortunate we're looking at this with CMC where just a little bit of the concern that was there versus a guy like Derrick Henry or a guy that's more durable in Zeke. I'm not getting the ceiling out of Zeke, but I'm getting the floor, and he's in my lineup still. So we'll see. Any injuries could happen to anyone. I don't want to do that. I want to talk a little bit to Whisper Nation here, just real quick, Johnny. We'll get to that question that you have here. Slim Reaper saying hashtag Whisper Nation strong. What's up, Darius? Love you that you have you in here. And then Mr. Miyagi, can the real Slim Reaper please stand up? And Slim Reaper, and you're the MVP. We've got a few of these guys becoming real homies in the chat. We appreciate every single one of you. If you like the fantasy football content, hit that like, hit that subscribe, help us out. But yeah, Johnny, what were you gonna final asking question here on the CMC news here?
Yeah, how much WAB would you spend? Obviously, he's gonna lead the waiver wire column if he's available in most people's league. We told you that he was a handcuff if you had CMC, that you should have went out and got.
It's crazy. Like if we look at just this week, right? Alexander Madison led the waiver column for me. I had figured I wouldn't be able to write about him because my cutoff is 50% ownership percentage, but he was at 40. So it's got to tell me that Chuba's going to be there too, and he's going to be the lead dog. And I think for me, percentage of FOB, I mean, I would go no shorter than 50, 60%. I think that's what's worth it here. Just because he's
Dallas,
should be the guy.
Dallas, Philly, Minnesota, and the Giants, and then Atlanta are the next 5 games. So if CMC is missing 5 games, those are nice 5 games to have Chuba for. So right. I think you're right. Yeah.
And so we got Mon-O in here, or Mon-O in here. Says Jocks Patrick is a name to remember. Yes, keep that on your radar there. But we'll keep moving on through this show. We got rid of the Thursday night game just because it wasn't a great game to talk about. We had the CMC injury and just not a lot of action other than DJ Moore and Sam Darnold. But let's talk about what's going on here. NFL has informed suspended former All-Pro Josh Gordon that it is reinstating him. Gordon is expected to be eligible as to early as play as week 4. Just quickly, Johnny, any situation that you'd be picking him up? What if he goes to Tampa?
Oh my gosh! If he goes to, I mean, I could imagine him going to Tampa, but could you? Oh man, maybe Seattle. But I again, it's just like we've seen this, and
yeah, it's a story that's as old as time, kind of like.
And honestly, how old is he now? Like he's got to be up there in age, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna vet it. Real quick while
we'll move on to the next one. Sean McVay says the Rams will, quote, be smart today with Darrell Henderson. Expects Henderson to be a game time decision. I don't think Henderson's going to play this game, Johnny. I think we're looking at an opportunity for Sony Michel to get a ton of work, and we've been talking about it. Sony Michel was a pickup, that I put in the waiver wire column as well. He'd be right around there at that 40 to 50 FOB range for me as well. Sony Michel just is ready, going to be in line with a great offense to go get work this weekend. And as long as Henderson's out, I'm firing up, Sony Michel where I got him as on the RB2 radar firmly.
Yeah, and I definitely think that they're going to – we've seen this through the first couple of games, how teams are attacking Tampa Bay's defense. They're staying away from that line, and they're swinging out passes, doing pitches, and Sony's good at those type of plays. So I do expect him to have a pretty solid game with a decent upside if he can get in the end zone. And also, I did bet 30 years old for Josh
yeah,
Gordon.
So past the 30-year threshold there. Speaking of 30, shout out to my girlfriend Cassie turning 30.
Oh yeah,
next week we're out here in Big Bear celebrating. Happy birthday, Cassie! Sorry, wouldn't be right if I didn't get her a shout out on the show.
You gotta do that.
Girl. All right, Amari Cooper says with his rib, he had the bruised ribs late in the game against the Chargers last week. Says he's going to be good to go for Monday Night Football.
G2G.
We had Jerry Jones say maybe. We had Amari Cooper say he was hopeful. And then today he said good to go. You can probably fire him up with confidence in this high over-under on Monday Night Football. The lights are on. I think Amari Cooper belongs in your lineup.
Yep.
The Panthers, as I mentioned, worked out Duke Johnson amid the CMC injury. Anything here? Would he be worth a speculative waiver ad? This is a guy with dual threat capability. He just hasn't been picked up anywhere.
I think they trust him. I think it would be a depth piece. Like we've seen them roll with just one player, and it would take him a little bit to pick up the play calling. So I just think it's a depth piece. If you're in a deeper league, sure, why not? It's a running back that has a somewhat path to maybe relevance. But I wouldn't say in shallower leagues, like 12-person leagues, you should do it.
Vikings running back Dalvin Cook with his ankle is listed as questionable for Sunday's game with Seattle. Sounds like he'll be a true game time decision. So we also have their offensive tackle, their rookie Darisaw, is also going to be out with a groin. So a couple of injuries here in the running game for Minnesota. I actually love the passing pieces in this game. High over under against Seattle. I think they're going to be fired up to get some points through the air. Are you confident that we roll? I mean, we got to roll out Alexander Mattison if we're Cook owners and he's in. What do you think is going to happen here? What's your guess on Dalvin Cook? I don't think he plays here.
You don't think he goes?
No.
I really hope
it's early in the season, 17-game season, as we talked about. Remember, load management, Johnny. We were talking about that a little bit. Do they maybe rest him here in order to get more out of him throughout the year?
The only problem is that they need to win.
Yeah.
So that's like if they are sitting at
they're not going to win this one, so.
Right? If they were sitting at 2-0, then I'd say they're probably just going to sit him. But they're 0-2 right now. And they have to win this game. I'm with you. I don't think they do, but I also do think that they realize like if they go 0-3, their season is done. And so I think that he'll probably try to give it a go, which might not sound the best, but hopefully you do have Alexander Mattison and you can just it is the 125 game or the afternoon game. So that does hope, you can't really make a morning one, at least in the morning you would know to swing in somebody else, but it's the afternoon game. So you kind of have to have a backup plan.
And maybe this is a philosophy question, Johnny, but I would wonder if you have Madison and they say, Cook's a game time decision and then goes. Any world where you're flexing Madison in case something were to happen to Cook and then you get Madison for the rest of the game? Or is that a little too much risk for you to kind of go in there? Do you think they maybe spell Cook more in this game? And remember, this is the same Seattle team. This is the same Seattle team that just gave up basically two running back worth of matchups against Derrick Henry last week.
Listen, Zimmer, if you're watching this, or Dalvin, if you tune into our show right now, could you? I mean, it would just be so nice for us fantasy players.
Let us know
if we just knew, if we just just let one, because if there's one guy, then he's going to go off. He's going to have it. You almost want him. I do have Dalvin. I'm not going to lie. I do have Dalvin in a league, but I also did handcuff him with Alexander. So I'm kind of hoping he does sit because I don't want to, be crossing my fingers with every carry that he has. So
I hear that. And I think I'd stay away from kind of getting too cute like that. If I got to think if Cook goes, I'm playing Cook, but I wouldn't be playing Madison.
I think you might be right though. They could, because he did look pretty banged up at the end of that Cardinals game.
The thing was, he was ripping off great runs.
I know he was playing really well.
Yeah. So moving on here, Johnny, we've got the next item on the agenda. That's Russell Gage for the Atlanta Falcons, out for 3 weeks. They're playing the Giants this week. Johnny, we've talked about on the matchup show, which you guys can find on Spotify, or if you're over on Patreon, get the full videos over there, patreon.com/the Fantasy Whispers. But Johnny, we talked about this Atlanta offense, Ridley, and also Kyle Pitts. Do you think this is an update or an upgrade for Pitts here with Gage out this week?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. And Ridley should also get a slight uptick. I do think this is a major Pitts game though, especially with Ridley going to be on, or Bradsbury is going to be on Ridley. So not that Ridley can't. And Ridley's one of the best route runners, so I do think he'll actually maybe get up into that 10 target range, which is, we like to see Ridley in the 10 target range. And if that's the case, he usually will pay off as a top fantasy option. It's when he gets under 10 targets that he struggles. And so you would think that he would get a couple extra plays called for him because of this news.
Mr. Miyagi's got a question in here. He said for later, but we'll just grab it right now while we're at it here. Tannehill, Fields, or Cousins, because we're talking about those Vikings. We were just talking about them. And look, I'm about to post the Start Sit article later today, and I have Fields as a start there. But that's over a guy like Tannehill's. I don't know if it would be over a guy like Cousins right now, who is really balling and he's getting it done. And this is in 55.5 over under. It's the highest on the week, Minnesota and Seattle. So I want a piece of that game. I would start, for me, I would rank them like this. It would be Cousins, Fields, Tannehill.
And I'll be honest with you, if Alexander Madison, or if Dalvin ends up playing and is actually banged up, they might rely on on Kirk Cousins throwing a little bit more in this game. So yeah, I do think Cousins is a really stay in the flames with them.
We had breaking news that Mr. Miyagi also helped us point out. Deontay Johnson ruled out of this game, Johnny.
Is he on IR?
I don't think they moved him to the IR, just ruled him out for this game. Remember, they said he had avoided significant, just rolling him out here.
James Washington.
Upgrade for James Washington. Although I want to see it first, Johnny. I'm really not trusting this Pittsburgh offense. It does not look very good right now, and I have concerns on a deeper level for this offense right now. And so I know it looks like a good matchup. If Ben can't get it done here, and I got to check on Ben. Like, is Ben going to play with that pec injury? I think they were saying he was. But either way, what I'm getting at is I want to see this offense get to the right level here before I'm trusting a guy outside of Deontay Johnson or Najee Harris.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Let's watch it. Let's watch James Washington. Let's watch Chase Claypool in this game without Deontay. I want to see what happens here.
It's lining. I'm just saying the analytics are lining up to where it would be. But I totally understand what you're saying. I totally get saying.
Okay. Deontay, we're having as a wide receiver 1, 2, probably borderline.
Yeah.
Where are you okay putting James Washington in your lineup here? Like, are you starting OBJ over James Washington?
No.
You're starting
I'm saying
over OBJ.
No, I'm saying I would start OBJ.
Start OBJ.
Yeah, I'm saying.
What about Corey Davis?
See that I would probably still swing Corey Davis in that way. I'm talking like, would you rather play
Marvin Jones? Like Marvin Jones.
Yeah, exactly that, or DJ Chark. That's kind of the area. Marvin Jones, DJ Chark, or James Washington. I think
that's fair. I don't think I would side for all the guys we listed. I think it's still James Washington's last on that list for me, just because I've seen it already on the field this year with this new offense. It's a new look Steelers offense, and I want to see James get in there. And we've seen it before with James. Don't get me wrong. You're right there, but I'm not putting James Washington in just yet.
Again, I just want to express that the only reason I'm saying this is because I'm presuming, based off of how they've done it before, that James Washington will step into the Deontay Johnson role, and so therefore he would see those 10 targets. But again, we have to also monitor the Ben injury. That is something you have to monitor. So it is a little bit.
Miyagi says hard pass on James Washington, just more upside for Juju and Claypool. Definitely more upside for Claypool. I think Juju's actually a sneaky play here as a guy to soak up targets without Deontay in there, because he definitely loves him already. You're just not going to get a lot of pop from him. We talked about 6 yards per attempt there, or per catch. That's not exciting. Let's move on to the next item of business here. We have Deandre Hopkins. He will be a game time decision per Cliff Kingsbury. We talked about this. It was a shoulder, right? I believe that's what he's dealing with, or is it an ankle?
Hold on. I'm trying. My screen had frozen. Well,
either way, he will be a game time decision. But we did see some of this last year with Hop. Like, he does come down to the wire. He kind of, takes his maintenance days and does his thing. I just think, there's a situation here with Hopkins that this could actually open up a lot more looks for the other guys. We get more snaps for Rondale Moore in this game if DeAndre Hopkins. And again, Johnny, beat a dead horse here, but 17-game season. Are they thinking, hey, do we kind of rest Hopkins here? We're cruising. This isn't a huge game for them. It's Jacksonville, right? They don't need to have Hopkins in this lineup. Do they let him sit?
Yeah. Okay. So this is saying it might be like you said, because Jesse Morse, he's the MD, he's the he does fantasy, he covers injuries, and he said, he tweeted out, interesting. If I were a betting man, I'd say Hopkins plays wearing a flank jacket, a local numbing, and then like a shot or.
Get him the shot, dude. Let's go.
Dude, like NFL blitz,
shoot
dude.
Up,
like,
dude.
shoot him up, dude. Remember you like, and then you're like, you could be out for like a month, or you could juice him up. Let's juice him up, dude. So I do think Hopkins ends up playing. He usually does play through these kinds of things. But like you said, they could end up swinging more targets to Rondale. They could end up running more this game because they are projected to be up in this game. So he shouldn't see as many targets. So the question is, are you still playing him? I still play him because it's D-Hop, because there's upside.
Yeah,
unless
absolutely.
you have better options, which it's hard to find.
Look, I'm okay with rolling out Hopkins. I'm also okay with rolling out AJ as a flex if Hopkins misses.
Yeah,
I'm not. And then as the other wide receivers, I'll take Kirk and Rondale Moore in my flex in PPR leagues as options as well. This offense is really clicking right now. So a lot of love for the wide receivers over there in Arizona. Andre Silva, Johnny says, I traded TB12, AB, and Jamal Williams for Tannehill, AJ Brown, and CEH. Good trade? ? I'm going to say no. And I understand you have AJ Brown there and you have CEH. You're hoping for you bought the dip here, but TB12 is a league winner potential this year just because of all the touchdowns he's trying to throw, break records right now, and they just continue to throw. The running backs are not inspiring. And then AB, obviously we have the COVID situation, but when he gets back, we know that Brady loves him. One down week doesn't change my mind on that.
Yeah.
Love AJ Brown. Like AJ Brown may be the best fantasy player in this trade, like at a onesie position, but I don't think it's enough to tilt this trade in your favor. I think you took a loss on this one, Andre, but that's all right. Stick with us. Stay subscribed to the channel. We'll help you get those waivers going. Maybe get you another trade down the line that can help your team get a little bit better. Inglorious P. Johnny says Odell or Pollard. This is an interesting one for me. I want to say Pollard. Look, Kyle Neely says Pollard, Zeke is Eddie Lacy 2.0. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know about Kyle
that.
coming in with that.
Fired,
dude. Shots fired.
But Odell or Pollard here, I think. This is because you question Odell if he's going to be all the way up to speed. If it took him this long to get back, if it took him a couple weeks in the year to get back, is he full go? Will he be full go, or will you go Pollard here on usage from last week that was a lot more increased?
Because here's why I go Pollard. Pollard's a safer guy to play because his ceiling. We know his ceiling is. He blew up last week. Am I saying he's going to do it again like that this week? No, but his floor is also safer, in my opinion, than Odell's right now because of those very questions. He's coming back as the rust. It is nice that Jarvis isn't going to be there, so OBJ should get like 10 to 12 targets. But are they going to we've seen, Baker and OBJ already have kind of connection issues. So I would definitely play Pollard this weekend. I think,
Shout out to our guy Hannon, who's giving the super chat going, and then he has his question here: Rondale Moore or Kareem Hunt in my flex. If Hopkins misses, I'd get Rondale Moore in there. But until we get that word, just because of Rondale Moore's snap percentage hasn't been where we want it to be just yet, I'd be hesitant to get him in over Hunt in your flex unless Hopkins misses this game.
And the thing,
well, in time, are they both 10 a.m. games?
No, the Arizona game. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, no, the Arizona game is at 10. So, yeah, you would know. By then.
Guys, you can always get, as Hannon did here, you can always get your questions to the top of the chat by using that super chat feature. It's the $sign right there next to the chat. So go ahead and do that anytime. We'll try to get your questions answered exactly at the top there. Johnny, Colts quarterback Carson Wentz on no ankles is practicing today. If he were to go, will he be at enough percentage for you to be hopeful of guys like Pittman and Pascal, who we had seen some rapport building and some upside established.
I mean, you definitely like to see Carson Wentz in there, but I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well,
sorry,
save the compassion for another show, Johnny. I want to know hard-hitting fantasy analysts here.
Well,
no, I'm just
okay,
kidding.
no,
I agree.
I feel like he's just trying
field.
to prove something to
know,
people,
dude.
and it's like, dude, just like heal up, dude, and then
it's like, no, this ankle, it's a low ankle sprain. This ankle, it's a mid to high. It's like, dude,
but it's not going to hold me back because I'm not injury prone.
You don't have any more flipping ankles, dude. These are the only ankles you got, dude.
So I just feel bad. But to your question though, that's my concern is if he gets hit one more time, he's out, and that's why I have confidence in Pittman, and Pascal, is because Carson Wentz and his tendencies and how he's working in that scheme. And those are becoming his like go-to guys there. But if you have the backup in there, you don't have that same confidence, you could possibly throw Pittman out there and be okay, but like I'm not confident in it at all. So it's like, once again, it's like these two pieces that are available, and you're like, okay, the what they should produce is a good fantasy day. But in reality, it's a gamble, because if it's all tied to Carson Wentz, like you said, who has not one but two bad ankles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know if I'd be trusting anybody not named Jonathan Taylor in this offense.
Yeah, I think this is a big Jonathan Taylor game.
I would just be, I think they're going to give him like 20, 25 carries this week.
Like, I wouldn't be, real talk, I wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Taylor is the number one running back of the week this week.
Andre Silva says Daniel Jones or Tannehill this week. And you just traded for Tannehill in that deal. And now you're asking if you should start Daniel Jones over him. Man, I'm rolling out Tannehill. This is the last time I'm going to give Tannehill the leash. He's got the opportunity. It's a big over-under. It's a nice game against Indy, who's been torched by a couple quarterbacks. I would roll Tannehill here. Daniel Jones' ceiling or floor could fall out at any point. It could be a trapdoor. I don't want any part of it.
The thing that I do like to point in Tannehill's kind of direction or boast him is that he's had 6 drops already through Julio and AJ Brown. And one of those drops at least could have been a touchdown. He did have the touchdown call back from Julio this weekend. So I do think this is a game where he gets right. So yeah, I would agree going Tannehill. Daniel Jones just seems like, a trap door, dude. You just think you're on sturdy ground. All of a sudden, whoop, there goes the rug, and underneath was a hole, dude.
Well, speaking about dropping, someone had dropped Tyson Williams in Inglorious P's league, and he asked, would y'all use your waiver priority to get Tyson Williams this week or wait to use it on Chuba Hubbard? Appreciate you guys. I think I would wait to get it on Chuba Hubbard, and I would tell you why. And I think Hubbard is the guy that has a clearer path to not only the lead down role, which we don't even know if Tyson has that. And we know that Chuba's probably going to get the goal line work. You know what else Chuba could get in line for? The passing down work. And we know that this offense is built to pass catching. And so all of that means he checks all 3 boxes for me. So yes, above Chuba Hubbard, I would wait. And if you have the priority, if you have the number one, or if you have the most FOB to spend here, that's who I would prioritize there.
And then you could even, not only that, but he has more trade value right now. So you could pick him up and then go either to the CMC person who roster CMC and get a trade that way, or you have a guy like Travis says, I think he steps into RB2 value minimum with RB1 upside.
Absolutely. So we've got a couple more news items here. Raiders running back Josh Jacobs will be listed doubtful in Sunday's game. Chris Hannon pointed that out. And then our guy, John Credit, who writes on the site and helps with the rankings. Peyton Barber season. Please stop, John. Please don't. No, we don't need any more Peyton Barber season. Why won't you die?
Why won't you just go away?
Go away. It's like when they try to send the dog off in the shows, like, just be free. Go on.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't want you anymore.
Be gone.
Yeah. So moving on, I think Drake is an uptick. We've talked about this before. I think that's an uptick in this game. Miami, good through against the pass, not as strong against the run. So we've got a situation where Drake could actually get some uptick here. And that team has just been passing and scoring points. So I don't mind Drake as a flex play here at all. Good news out of the Broncos camp. Noah Fant and Tim Patrick, both full participants. They will play Sunday as it's being reported there.
Tim Patrick or James Washington?
Oh, I'm getting Tim Patrick. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like I've seen it already. I've seen the way that this team,
the volume's so low for Tim Patrick is the
true,
problem.
but they scheme him in for stuff in the red zone.
They scheme him.
And they scheme him free, dude. They're scheming on him.
They scheme him free.
No, I really do.
Free Willie.
Yeah, dude. I really do like Tim Patrick more. I think James Washington could go out there and get 8 targets. Sure. I think you'd love that. And then he'd catch 3 of them for 12 yards. Like, I just think that's where that offense can go right now. That Pittsburgh offense scares the crap out of me. I don't want any part of it. The line's bad. Ben can't throw. It just does not look good right now.
All right. I feel you. I get it.
So we talked about CMC, Carson Wentz, and then the Bengals wide receiver, T. Higgins, doubtful, Johnny, Sunday here. So upticks for your man, Jamar Chase, upticks for Tyler Boyd. Got to think upticks for Joe Mixon through the passing game.
Joe Mixon, can we what? Oh, now Auden Tate.
We're gonna get Auden Tate. Yeah, Ian Hartitz has got to be loving this.
Real talk, though. Joe Burrow has a connection, bro, with Auden Tate, and if he's stepping into that T. Higgins role, I might go pick him up. I might just go pick him up.
Right
what? Now. Oh yeah, I might.
So, yeah, Mr. Miyagi says, "Yo, rubbing in the salt of the Hawk Higgins trade. I love this."
Right here.
Oh, because he did trade Higgins away to get Hawk, right? That's what. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That last week, I thought. Yeah.
Oh, that was such
Cardinals
a brilliant move.
Raiders defense here, Johnny. I take the Cardinals. Chandler Jones here. I like this matchup.
And Trevor Lawrence has thrown a pick in every single game so far.
And he's only completed 50% of his passes. Trevor Lawrence has been doo-doo this year. So
doo-doo pies.
All right, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was back to practice after an illness yesterday. It was being reported some weird stuff, shoulder, then an illness, but it ended up being
a hip because he flipped in the end zone, dude.
Elijah Mitchell being called very questionable by the San Francisco 49ers GM John Lynch for Sunday night. This one spooked me, so I'll be honest with you, Whisper Nation. I am a big guy on Elijah Mitchell. I think he fits the offense well. I thought he showed some flash. Even in the Philly game where he didn't do well, he got the bulk of the touches. We had a lot of injuries. I was ready to fire up Elijah Mitchell this week. But now after this news, like a very questionable, like it sounds silly. Like, oh, not just questionable, very questionable.
Very questionable.
No, but I would be sitting Elijah Mitchell. It's Sunday night. You're not going to know in time, I think, to make the proper pick. We talked about Jock Patrick. I think it was what was his name? Mono says Jock Patrick. Remember the name? New Niners running back. That's a guy to keep on your radar. But I'd be hesitant to start any of these guys in place if you had them as backups.
And also Jeff Wilson. If you
it could be returning.
He's a couple of weeks away. So and the way this thing, man, this is just what it is with Atlanta or with Carolina or. Oh my gosh, I cannot get these names on. With San Francisco running backs, it's like water. They just go through them.
Yeah.
Big Travis going to be getting a call next week asking to be picked up.
I'm ready, dude. Put me in. All right, Gus Ramos saying, "What's up, guys? Johnny, where are we on Swift? Do you think Do you think he had a talk with Goff about the time he missed him on that pass?"
Yeah, I hope so. No, I do think it was what was interesting after the game. Head coach came out and said, we need to get Swift more schemed up on a few more plays. We need to get schemed. It's all about scheming up these guys. So better days should be ahead. They know they did not get him the ball enough and that they want to make it a point too. So
what are your thoughts, Johnny, here on Robert Woods rest of season? I'll just jump in here too. He's got wide receivers Adams, A.J. Brown, who he just traded for, Woods, Ayuk, and Visca. I think Visca is probably going to be your odd man out in this group. That's what it's looking like, that offense we just can't trust. Woods is a guy that you could probably look to trade if he could get a good game or two in, because it does look like Kupp is the alpha here, and that's actually significantly chopped up this market share. So if you can get some value, like let Woods try and pop off here. I think this is a great matchup against Tampa Bay. It's going to be a lot of points scored. Can Woods have a good game, get a touchdown, turn to flip Woods for another piece that you could get. So for me, and I also think Ayuk is another one on that radar too, that if he pops, you could probably get some value for as well.
I do think that as far as Woods goes, like he'll have some better days, but like you said, like they're not really slinging the rock around like we kind of expected or the potential there. Like they're literally throwing as much as they did with Goff, but it's just more efficient. And so, there's a lot
they're
of
going to
concern
take their shots, but it looks like they're taking their shots with guys like Van Jefferson or with Cooper Kupp down the field, and not as much with Woods, who's become more of a possession receiver for the offense.
Yep.
All right, Kyle Neely says Mike Davis or Mitchell for my third flex spot. I got Davis in now. I would go Mike Davis. I would roll with Mike Davis because Mitchell, like, we're just not going to know in time. So yeah,
you see that
unfortunate. Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about next. It's a good segue into Cordarrelle Patterson and our guy Cordarrelle Patterson, and of course, I'm blanking. Just talked about Mike Davis going with a 60-40 split in favor of Mike Davis, but that's 40% snaps, which is, that would make Johnny pretty happy.
For the fantasy glitch, dude. The fantasy glitch is gonna get 40%, and they're
actually it's 40% of the market share, because I'll just let everybody know. Cordarrelle's had 30% of the snaps in both games, 33%. So I'm getting him more work in the running game, which we knew could be a possibility because, as Johnny has pointed out for weeks now, he fits the system better. He's more of a Derrick Henry type. He's not anywhere close to Derrick Henry, but he fits the body style or the running style that Henry does in this offense, which Arthur Smith used to coach Derrick Henry. But then the other thing is, like Johnny said, the dual eligibility that we have in Cordarrelle Patterson. So a lot of things to like here with Patterson. That's why he's made the waiver column a couple weeks in a row now.
And the last thing I just want to say on why I think he's excelling so well is because that offensive line is not great, but the way it's set up, and it's kind of setting him up because he has so much experience as a punt returner. He's used to getting kind of looks like that. So that's why he's able to make these moves and get through these holes and really make a lot more out of nothing, because he's so used to it from a kickoff perspective. So it's really fun. He's just a fun guy to watch, or has been over the last couple weeks. We'll see if it can continue. I can speak here, but it is fun to see him play all over the field and see if he can have that 10-year breakout that we've all been projecting for.
Corey Dean here. Matt Ryan is washed. Yeah, and that's why they're going to have to try other weapons to get this offense going, and Cordarrelle Patterson is one of those. Felton, Gus Ramos telling us he picked up Demetric Felton instead of Hubbard. Ooh, that would have been nice to get Hubbard, but you didn't know. There's no way you'd have known. So, like, Felton was a good pick before that injury. Next week, it'll obviously be Hubbard, who's on top of the waiver wild columns. Johnny, rapid fire here. We're going to go through some of these items here. Jameson Crowder, game time call. You're not putting Crowder in your lineup if he goes. No. Do you think it decreases Corey Davis in any way? You're not really starting Corey Davis against Denver?
No, Denver's been actually pretty good about with their corners. So yeah, I wasn't looking at starting Corey Davis. That's why I was like borderline on James Washington.
Yeah, I feel that. Ron Rivera of the Washington football team says that Gibson will be good or should be good to go against the Bills.
Could struggle though. He could struggle this week. Look to buy him low. Yeah, look to buy him real low after this week, and then better days ahead for Gibson for sure.
Last piece of news here, and it's not that big of news, but Matt LaFleur said he wants to get Randall Cobb more involved. That sounds like Aaron Rodgers saying he wants to get Cobb more involved, but we'll go from there. I digress. Matt LaFleur says that. I don't think that's accurate, but we'll see what happens. Johnny, that kind of does it for the news. Obviously, more news and notes will be coming through the day. Guys, if you want more of this action, you want more lineup advice, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube right here on the channel, and we go live an hour and a half before kickoff. So this Sunday, in a couple days, 1.5 hours before kickoff, we'll be answering your lineup questions live right here on YouTube. So, Johnny, any last words for the people?
Yeah, I could just what you were talking about Randall Cobb and Aaron Rodgers, I could just imagine Rodgers going to the office and saying, dude, you either scheme up Randall Cobb or I'm just going to ignore what your head said. I've done it before, and I'm throwing to Cobb. Yeah, so I'm just letting you know now.
Definitely petty enough to do that. No doubt about it.
Shout out once more to Cassie. Happy birthday. Appreciate you for letting Big Travi come on the show today and giving time during your special weekend. Shout out to you guys. You guys have a great weekend.
Thanks, brother. Miss Whisper Nation, good luck this weekend, and catch us on Sunday. We'll help you with all your lineup decisions. For Johnny Game Time Hicks, I'm Big Travi. We're the Fantasy Whisperers. We're out. Peace.
Peace.
Right here.
Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome fantasy football community, head on over to our Discord chat. Link is in the description below. And if you're still not sold on us, check out one of these videos.